Hello there, my favorite fellow Rifers. So, whether you are new to vibrational therapies, sympathetic harmonic resonance, energy medicine, Rife Machines, other things like that, or you've been many years, decades even of experience, then I hope that you'll find this interesting. So, when I see a new topic or see something that I want to learn about, many times I'm wondering, okay, will they get to the point, or is a lot of superfluous information around it? Or, yeah. So with this, I want to address the heading, the theme of the world's most powerful Rife machine, as well as the world's cheapest Rife machine right off the bat. So eventually I'll get to the point where I tell you my background and why you can trust me and the observations that I've made. Also health in general as to things you can do while rifing that will definitely amplify the benefits, as well as just general things that I've observed in my travels through 130 countries. Being able to absorb from every place I've been, from Ayurvedic medicine to holistic approaches to, basically many, many types of therapies. So I'd like to share my experiences with you. Thank you for all of your nice comments, your emails, your calls, your encouragement that you've given. This is a very informal discussion here, unscripted totally, and I'll try to throw a few photos in, and also I'll put down in the description below, I'll put some time markers so you can see various topics and go straight to that if you prefer, since this one might be a little bit longer than usual. So normally I have just photos of different machines and things I'm describing. This time you have to look at my ugly face. Hopefully it will encourage you to appreciate and value your own more. So anyway, on the world's most powerful Rife machine, I had the opportunity working with a scientist who's actually a microwave and satellite engineer. Very, very smart inventor regarding free energy, electric DC motors that are 130% effective, meaning that they actually generate electricity while they're operating. So yeah, this is a sharp guy. So he helped me create a machine using 24 feet of plasma tube, photon emission plasma tube, which, in other words, very powerful. Most machines today have around 12 inches, 18 inches. And in this case, size does matter. So 24 feet have 4 tubes on either side that are 3 feet long. So it's very, very powerful. You're like sitting inside of a refrigerator almost and getting complete surrounding, not surround sound, but surround vibrational energy. So we've had fantastic experiences. And I'm hoping that if I meet the right people, I'll be able to start producing that. We built 5 prototypes. And it does not interfere, no interference with cell phones, touch screens, with remote controls, televisions, landline telephones, anything. So we were able to accomplish that. That was one of the big limitations for most photon or plasma type machines, is that they would disturb, their radio frequency generation would disturb or interfere with other machines. So I'll have to keep you updated on that if I meet that super person who's able to help me get that going. And put that together, then I want to make it as cheap as possible, not a real profit industry type thing. If the person that would help me wants to make a profit, that's fine. But that's one of the things I've enjoyed with the Rife community is, like, even when I had a health clinic in New York with over 2,000 patients from 35 countries, I didn't charge 1 cent. And I bought 10 plasma machines, quite expensive, and then rented a facility with 5 treatment rooms where people would spend the night many times, and then I would loan the machines out to families. But it's just that motivational feeling of giving back. The machine saved my life in 2001, so it feels good to help others. And a lot of people have that same spirit. So I really like you guys, and thank you for everything you do. Now, there's a lot of details on that machine. Maybe we'll get into that later. But that's the point on the world's most powerful machine that I know of anywhere on the planet. So that one's exciting. And the therapies, wow, eliminates many viruses and bacteria. Dengue fever, for example, in 30 minutes, gone. Various types of cancer, usually 10 to 15 days. The tumors have reduced to not even able to find them on ultrasounds and that. So we've had so many experiences there. Really, really exciting. We're happy for that. Now, the second point, the world's cheapest Rife machine. Well, you might be a little bit surprised. For some of you, this will be free. For others, you may have to buy some type of device. But here's the trick, and this is what I recently discovered. So I'm still in the testing phase, but I'm gonna tell you, really, really amazing. So I think because I was spoiled having, I purchased around 50 machines maybe through the years, and I've tried different things because I just saw these amazing things happen with my parents, with myself, my dogs, with friends, everyone. So I got passionate about this, and it was not just out of enthusiasm, but it was out of results. So that encouraged and inspired me. But I tried contact devices of many types, various ways, connecting electrodes, holding probes, putting your feet in pools of water with electrodes in them, etc. And I actually, part of my background, small snippet, is that I'm electrosensitive. I was highly electrosensitive after living in Sweden and Germany during the construction of the digital cell phone networks by Nokia and primarily Ericsson, Swedish company. So I was 3 years almost dead. I was around 10% alive, could barely breathe, serious arrhythmia, chronic fatigue like you wouldn't believe. Couldn't go into fluorescent lighting, mercury vapor lighting, those big aluminum dome type lights. So I'm like a canary in the coal mine when it comes to frequency or energy medicine. I'm like a portable meter. And within seconds, I can kind of feel, is this good or is this irritating the system? An example, like the Niken magnets, the mattresses and that, I find those overwhelming. And maybe after 3 or 4 minutes is okay, but after that I start feeling uncomfortable and the nervous system is not happy at that point. Or if I'm located near a cell phone tower, of course, that's, of course, very dangerous or very negative. But even on therapies, I found that the contact devices, similar to the Niken magnets or neodymium rare earth magnets, those it's kind of imbalancing in the body. It's not giving a natural flow that would occur through electromagnetic fields or through spurious, types of radio frequencies that we receive. All forms of light and sound and vibrations are just that, right? Vibrations. Various levels of frequency and the speed at which they travel and the cycles at which they make, or the hertz. So these types of inventions, some of them are very well motivated, and some of them I do believe work quite effectively for things such as parasites, maybe various forms of bacteria or fungus, maybe larger celled and complex organisms that do not like electricity being run through the body, so it kind of chases them out. So I have had some positive experiences regarding parasites and things of that nature. But as overall, my go-to machines have always been the plasma type or photon emission, ones with a light bulb on it. And that has just over and over created fantastic results. I have rarely been disappointed, have made huge progress with all of the ones I was helping. And it's just, it's not 100%, but it's pretty close. So it's been a very, very exciting journey. So now this thought has come up just recently because I'm just visiting here in America, and I don't have one of my plasma machines with me at this moment. The 5 prototypes I have of the world's most powerful machine are actually in Manila in the Philippines. So I'm anxious to get back there. I've been a couple years in Dubai, and now in America. I feel that I really need to get back to my machine. My body's calling for it. So in the meantime, I discovered something based on the vibrational things I've seen. I'll try to include some photos here so you can see what I'm talking about, or maybe even some video clips. Have you seen the vibrational plates? And then people will put rice grains or salt or small grained objects on top, and the patterns which are created and produced are beautiful. It's like a beautiful. I don't know if you remember the spirograph. If you were born in the Jurassic period, like I was, maybe you do. But it's like the amazing changes just from a few frequency, 10 hertz or 5 hertz or 100 hertz, very small movement changes or adjustments, but huge effects. So I would even like to make artwork out of that as one of the things I would like to do. Different, here's 528 hertz. Here's what it looks like when grains of rice are vibrated, right? So then another one is, some of you have maybe seen like a stereo subwoofer and then a garden hose by it. And at 23 hertz, the water looks like it's coming down, but it breaks it apart, makes it in a very zygomorphic type pattern. But then 24 hertz, so you go up 1 hertz. That's 1 cycle more per second. That's almost nothing, basically. And then the water looks like it's reversing and going back up in space. So it's truly phenomenal. And I started thinking, okay, if you can change the surface of these small particles, such as grains of rice or salt, and harmonically make that into a beautiful pattern, like a flower, for example, and you can also change water so that you're changing the flow of it or the appearance of the flow and vibrating it with something as simple as a subwoofer. Okay, then I do believe that these audio therapies and some of the audio treatments are an effective way of delivering that energy to the body. So it's a very different approach for me because I've been pretty much stuck 100% on plasma type photon emission, because that for me just makes total sense that penetrates the whole body, the bones, everything. Then when I saw the effects on water, on rice, on other objects, and even the levitation of stones and other things through vibrational energy. And then a little more research led to the Tibetan monks and the Buddhists and others who use the large brass bowls that are like 528 hertz, many of them, or the large trumpets, some of them, many meters long, and what they're able to accomplish with that. So that audible, that sound frequency that goes through the body for healing, even the shamans and that who would have chants, or the long chants that some of and even harmonic tones that are created by some of these people. Now, I'm a person, because of traveling in 130 countries and at the same time studying the spiritual side of various traditional cultures and ethnic groups and locations and that. So looking at from Islam to various forms of Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Taoism, Shintoism, Confucianism, all these different isms, one thing I do stay far away from, and that's anything related to spiritism. So I've lived in a number of countries: Mozambique, South Africa, I was in Zimbabwe, Angola, different countries, Sweden and Iceland, very spiritistic. So different places where I observed, like in Brazil and Haiti also, seeing what voodoo, what black magic, what these things which sometimes are presented as a religion, but yet they are actually, that's another video. So the point is, I stay far away from anything that is spiritistic, occult, black magic, Ouija boards, this kind of thing. Now, unfortunately, many of the more new age type groups have grabbed a hold of this vibrational energy thing, and they've taken that in as a part of their religious thoughts. And the fact that they've done that, that's okay, whatever they want to do with that. But when you look for frequencies on YouTube, for example, then you will find a lot of mystical, spiritistic looking, various things going on there that actually have, in some cases, some very good frequencies, but they have a bit of a mystic or occultish look to it. So I feel bad about that, because that will scare a lot of people away from the scientific and the reasonable approach toward it. So don't let that turn you off. Don't let that deter you from trying many of these frequencies. I have found, however, that in trying some of these more, how should I say, meditation-oriented type things that are a little more hocus-pocus looking, not as effective actually as the direct frequencies. Maybe some scientific companies that put out, for example, let's test 10,000 hertz on your equipment. So they'll put a 8-hour video of 10,000 hertz clean, no harmonics frequency. So you can play around with it. Everyone is slightly different, or we all have our reception ability as to frequencies and absorbing them, and also the reactions that they have. So sorry, that was a very long introduction to the world's cheapest Rife machine, but I had to give you a little background before I go into it. So here's what I'm talking about. It is called, the scientific term is called an iPad. So actually what I discovered here is that I started thinking, okay, if you can change the grains of rice, or you can change the direction of water, or the vibrational movement of water, then you must be able to change your blood. You must, because the content of water and the fluid liquidity aspect of it, also the cellular membranes, the intercellular fluids and interstitial fluids, and all of these things that are going through the body. And most of our tissues are, of course, filled with water. So the more vibrational energy, healthy vibrational energy that we can deliver, then the better. So now an iPad, tiny, microscopic speakers. Well, I'm thinking, that doesn't logically make a whole lot of sense. If you have these giant Cerwin-Vega subwoofers, 5,000 watt stereo system that upsets your neighbors at night, that might work. But how can an iPad possibly help? So here's what I did. I took the iPad out of the, keyboard case. Anyone who knows an iPad will certainly understand what I'm talking about when I give this description. And then on the side, there's an on button. So I'll show you how I'm using that also in a minute here. And so let's go to YouTube, for example. And here's one of the cases of 10,000 hertz that I was telling you about. Now you may be able to hear that. Not sure if that's coming over. Very likely. So let's take 10,000, which just happens to be my absolute favorite frequency. And I'll tell you why I know that's my favorite frequency, and even tested to find that out scientifically. So what I did is, laying in bed or on the sofa, wherever, I would take the whole iPad and I would run that frequency, and I would turn the volume up, and your dogs are going to think you're crazy, as well as your relatives. And then put on my forehead and would just find the proper position where it would balance. And it's amazing how the frequency resonating in the ears, if you move it 1 millimeter left or right, it will make a completely different sound. It's like the right side completely cuts off and it all absorbs in the left side, or vice versa. Or you'll find that magic spot. Put it over the pineal gland, and it's the tiny little speakers on the side on both sides are actually vibrating the whole package, or the surround of the iPad itself. And that's why I take it out of that keyboard thing, because that's like an insulation aspect, right? So this is providing a 10,000 hertz vibration directly from the iPad into the forehead, into the pineal gland. And another one of the frequencies I used, for example, was 528 hertz, which is good for telomere reparation, for DNA and RNA and that, and helps to just reset a lot of things in the body. So for the last, visiting here in America, I started getting a sinus thing here in the spring, and as soon as I put this on my forehead, I started getting post-nasal drip, which I haven't had for years, and it started cleaning out. Then all of a sudden, I could completely breathe freely through the nasal passages. Now, about a year and a half ago, or a year and 3 months ago, I was attacked by 5 guys in Dubai and severely beaten, broken up in 11 places, and was in the hospital for a month. They tried to finish me off by driving over me with a car, so they broke my acetabulum off from my pelvis. It moved over a couple inches and then refused itself, or built itself back to the bone. And so I've been, stiff and sore, but another result of that, because they hit me over the head a couple times with a pipe, and my eyes have been making this acidic fluid, eye fluid, and with the oil and other thing in the eyes, and it was very painful, and I'd be rubbing my eyes many times during the day, and I just couldn't really get that alkalized so that it wasn't so irritating. 30 seconds into having 528 hertz on my forehead through an iPad, then the acid went away, and that was a few days ago and has not returned. Also, my sinuses, much clearer. My mood and attitude, more energy, happier, more positive. So truly an effective method of vibrational delivery. So anyone who has an iPad, a tablet, something along that line, you can do this. And Wi-Fi is not so bad, but if you have a mobile device which is tied into the cellular network, you need to put it on airplane mode. You can activate Wi-Fi even though it's on airplane mode, right? Because you don't want to put 2.45 gigahertz on your forehead. You don't want to put your cell phone anywhere near your head, a lot less, over your pineal gland. So that way, and that's another video also if you guys want. But this I found to be an extremely powerful tool. And I also put it over my pelvis this morning and relaxed my hip, relaxed my leg, my ankle. Really, really amazing. So it's I love simple things. I'm a redneck at heart, so I'm able to figure out things that many times are free to take a complex situation and make it very simple. And in this case, that's a very simple Rife machine. Now, if someone had a major illness, muscular sclerosis, or maybe Lyme's disease or cancer or things of that nature, I wouldn't say that's going to fix every problem in the body. However, I had 3 or 4 things that within a matter of 5 minutes, I could tell a substantial difference. 30 seconds for the acid in the eyes, which for me has been an irritation now for a number of months. And that's by itself a great progress. So try it on yourself, test it, see how it works, see what frequencies you like. And it's a fun way just to discover things. Again, shut off any type of mobile data type thing. If you're using your cell phone, which will accomplish a little bit in the same direction, most cell phones have an even smaller speaker, so you're going to get less vibratory action out of it. Now, another amazing thing is running 10,000 hertz, which is like in the center of the audible or our hearing spectrum, from 20 hertz to about 20,000. So 10,000 in the middle is an interesting frequency to use even in the hearing aspect. So what I did is if you take your hands and you kind of, as you're laying down on your bed, you have an iPad on your forehead. Yeah, you look a bit crazy, but it's okay. So you take your hands around and you can feel that the energy or the vibrations are going into the body in a different pattern. And I tested to see, is it the sound bouncing off the arms back to the ears or something? And it didn't seem to be that, but it was almost like an antenna, like you're rotating the antenna and the amount of vibration coming in through the body was changing, which affected the ear canal and the eardrum and the cilia. They're detecting the sound waves. So it's an interesting effect. So just play around with that. If you have a scientific mind, a curious mind, an inquiring mind, then it's fun. It's actually a lot of fun. And I also took, when you take your hands and just go like this, so it's laying on your forehead, and then you take your hand on the side like this, it goes, it's like almost like a metal detector sound. And it seems like what is happening, this is only a theory, so I don't really know, but the speaker holes on the side of an iPad are multiple. It's about, I don't know, maybe 10 on either end, so 20 holes. And it's almost like laser beams of energy are coming out of each one of those little holes, and the hand interrupts that. So it's about 10 or 20 times. So anyone who wants to play with that, count it. Please leave it in the comments. Tell me what you find, because I like to figure out those things. It's kind of fascinating. So play around with it and let me know, what you find, as well as things that you may think, theories you may have. And we can develop a little more information on that. Because most people in today's world, at least in Western countries, even in developing nations, a lot of people have a simple device like that. So eventually we may make something which ties in to this more directly, which fits on the forehead, which can be used on various areas of the body, which amplifies that frequency and make it simple and cheap. So that's one of the observations I made here. There's many things I could share. But overall, I give you great encouragement to continue anything you can on the use and discovery of Rife machines. They are not, the cure-all to every problem on the earth. However, they do a lot. And I am constantly surprised at things that I would have no assumption that they would work on. So from burn scars to endometriosis to just pick a name. I mean, I've had hundreds and hundreds of disorders and diseases and various types of cancers that have really been helped. So anything we can do to work as a team is a good thing. And if I get this super machine built, everyone's asking me about that, and thank you for your interest. And as soon as I'm able to put the right people together, then we can make it happen. So I said I was going to give you more information on just healthy lifestyle, and I kind of came up with an expression myself that maybe was already come up with sometime in history. I don't know, but my statement is: the healthier you are, the healthier you are. So the way that goes is the healthier you live, the healthier you are, then the healthier you're going to be. So it's kind of just a play on words, kind of a funny way to put it, hopefully, but to give us some food for thought as to what food we put in our mouths, for example, or what drinks we have. So I think I'll make that a separate video, actually, on recommendations of conjunctive type therapies, as well as or adjunctive rather, therapies on Rife treatments, as well as how to eat, alkalizing the body, things to avoid, electrically sanitizing, especially the bedroom, but also even a car or an office. There's companies in Sweden, for example, that do that professionally, but I also do a lot of that. So however we can help our bodies to be healthy and strong, we need to be, right? So anyway, I hope this was of some benefit and made some sense. I tried to kind of blast through it, but I know I talk too much, so thank you for putting up with me. Thank you again for all your encouragement, and stay in tune. We'll keep some things coming on here and hopefully help as many as we can. All right, take good care now and stay strong.